Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Monday, April 7th. Good afternoon to everybody. Happy National Championship Day as well. Go Gators. So, the Jaguars, bit of news. It's kind of a slow period when it comes to like legitimate news, but the Jacksonville Jaguars, almost a month, about 3 weeks ahead of the deadline, have decided to go ahead and pick up Travon Walker's fifth-year option, which that's for the 2026 season. He's going into year 4. Obviously, he's completed his first 3 seasons of his young career and of his rookie contract. So the Jaguars picking this up almost a month early. A lot of times teams wait till a little bit later on, but this is just, I think, a show from the Jaguars that they obviously want Travon Walker around and that they are planning on trying to keep him around for the long haul. And you've heard Liam Cohen talk about having conversations with Travon Walker, open conversations about a contract extension. He is now eligible for a contract extension now that he's accrued 3 seasons in the NFL. So we'll talk about the Jaguars picking up Travon Walker's 5th-year option here today. We'll also talk about another 5th-year option the Jaguars could decide to pick up or not pick up. Devin Lloyd, who was also a first-round pick in the 2022 draft class. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. So, Travon Walker, his 5th-year option, money-wise, it's going to be worth about $14.75 million. So you look at an edge, defensive end, pass rusher, whatever you want to call them, a contract for an edge, $14.75 million is really probably a bargain at this point, and that's how kind of 5th-year options are supposed to be fairly team friendly. They're supposed to give the team an extra year of control for first-round picks. And that's exactly what it's doing here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, he's now under contract with the Jaguars through the 2026 season. And so it's an interesting situation because Travon Walker, controversial first-round pick, not because of anything like, off-the-field antic. I mean, this guy is wired right. He brings it. He is a really good teammate, a really good member of the organization and of the community. So the controversy really comes in that a lot of folks just didn't think he should be the first overall pick. And, I'm among them. I think Aiden Hutchinson was clearly, if you're going to go in the pass rush direction, the number one guy there. There were some other folks who thought, Kayvon Thibodeau, whoever it may be, right? But I think it's fair to acknowledge that Aiden Hutchinson was the best pass rusher in that class, while also acknowledging that just because maybe Travon Walker wasn't the number one edge in that class, and still isn't the number one edge from that class, that he is a very valuable member of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that he is a really good young player and a player the Jaguars should value. Look, with this regime, new regime, James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, Tony Vaselli, would they have made that pick? Who knows? But it doesn't matter. He is on the team right now, and he's a valuable member of the team. He's somebody we talked about. We kind of studied last week what he is at this point in his career. And let's not forget, he's only 24 years old, right? This is a 24-year-old football player we're talking about. And he's not about to turn 25. He turned 24 in December. I mean, he's basically going to be playing his entire 4th season as a 24-year-old, 4-year veteran, right? He is a young man, and he's ascending. And it was always known that he was going to be a developmental pass rusher. Entering the league, he simply was not asked to rush the passer and play from like a 5-tech out to a 9-tech at Georgia very often as compared to what he was going to be asked to do in the NFL. Everyone knew that. Everyone knew that developing a pass rush plan, pass rush moves was going to take some time for Travon Walker, but what you were banking on is that his physical and athletic gifts combined with the football character was going to give you somebody who you would get on the field very early because he's going to be a really good run defender and a great athlete and a playmaker, who the ceiling was out of this world. And I think what you've seen so far is Travon Walker develop into someone who is probably around 15th among edge rushers in the NFL, in my opinion. If I had to stack edge rushers who I'd want on my team for the 2025 season, probably in that 15 to 20 range. But again, as a 24-year-old who is a developmental pass rusher entering the league, I think that's exactly where you want Travon Walker to be. I think that he is in a great situation, and the Jaguars are in a great situation. And you could probably make the argument that if you're looking at the 2-3 year trajectory from now, that Travon Walker projects as like a top 10 guy at the position, because again, he's only 24 years old. He has stacked back-to-back double-digit sack seasons. And as much as folks want to sit here and say that those sacks are fluky, whatever it may be, those sacks happened. And you don't fall into double-digit sack seasons on a bad football team 2 years in a row. You just don't. You can go watch the tape. He's not the most advanced pass rusher technically, but he does have a lot of physical ability. He has shown development. He has improved his consistency, and he can continue to improve the consistency in the pass rush department. But the bottom line is he is racking up pressures. He is racking up sacks. He is making plays in the backfield, and he is getting push. Even if he doesn't get a pressure on a given play, he's usually creating some push, some knockback, getting the quarterback off their mark and forcing them to either step up in the pocket, step to the side, which is helping out other players on the defensive front, making the quarterback uncomfortable. All these things are true about Travon Walker, the pass rusher. And again, the ceiling, I don't think he's anywhere close to his ceiling as a pass rusher, which should be terrifying for teams around the league that have to play the Jaguars, because if this guy does continue to level up, which there's no reason to believe he won't, again, hard worker, unbelievable physical athlete, and you've seen the trajectory, this guy should be a perennial double-digit sack player who has a consistent impact on the quarterback and on the passing game. He also receives a lot of extra attention. I mean, you see tight ends chipping this guy constantly when you pull up the tape. So you see all that stuff for Travon Walker. And we talked a lot about his game already, but you saw a suggestion from a pretty big account that maybe the Jaguars should trade Travon Walker for a second or third round pick instead of having to, potentially negotiate a $30 million contract. Look, if the Jaguars are able to get Travon Walker under contract with Josh Hines-Allen over the next, 3-4 years together at least, that's a major win for the Jaguars. And if you get the contract done sooner rather than later, by the time that contract actually hits the salary cap, which will be after the 2026 season, you're going to be seeing like 15, 20 edge rushers making more than $30 million per year, right? Probably. That's just kind of how it's going to go. Probably in the 15 range, 10 to 15 realistically. But it's not going to be the highest percentage of the cap contract that it could be. And I think the Jaguars would be wise to get it done early because, again, it can be true that Travon Walker wasn't the best number one overall pick of all time, right? While also being true that he is a very good football player who helps the Jaguars out tremendously and should be a part of their future plans. Both of those things can be true. They're not mutually exclusive. I think they both are true. So we're going to continue talking about this and talk about Devin Lloyd a little bit as well. But first, you ever watch sports and find yourself wishing there was a way to get into the game? Now there is with Underdog. To play, choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats, i.e. points, strikeouts, touchdowns, and more. Y'all already know. Tonight I'm looking at my Gators, Walter Clayton Jr. and Elijah Martin, to go higher on points. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using promo code DuvalDaily to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code DuvalDaily. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 again, $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus Massachusetts and Arizona, present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. So yeah, Travon Walker. He will be with the Jaguars through at least the 2026 season. Liam Cohen has talked about having open conversations and trying to potentially work towards an extension sooner rather than later. The Jaguars could very easily wait to do it until following the 2025 season, but I think the risk is greater than the reward of doing that. You've seen enough from Travon Walker on the field, and by the way, so far we've only talked about him as a pass rusher. Travon Walker, the run defender, is among the best at edge already in this league. This past year, according to ESPN's advanced stats, you have Travon Walker as a top 10 run stop win percentage guy. You have him in the top 5, I think number 3 overall in total run stops, right? PFF has him, among the top guys as well when it comes to total stops, which a stop is, according to PFF, a tackle that constitutes a failure for the offense. The guy is developing into a complete edge player, which is exactly what the Jaguars wanted when they drafted him. I think they're getting exactly what they were hoping for. And again, I don't think he's anywhere close to his ceiling. So you've got a really, really good football player that you should be excited to have. And he will be with the Jaguars through 2026. In 2026, $14.75 million against the cap will be a bargain for him. The hope for me is that they're able to get something done this summer and kind of lock him in ideally around the $25 million range. I think that number would, based on what he's done on the field so far, that number would say we're betting on you doing more than what you've done so far. But we're also acknowledging what you have done for this football team. And I think Travon Walker, maybe he wouldn't want to accept that. Maybe he wouldn't want to accept $25 million because that would potentially be leaving a lot of money on the table if he goes out and has a season like Josh Hines-Allen did in his contract year. Which, again, this wouldn't even be a contract year for him. It won't be in 2025. 2026 would be his contract year. But I think it would be a fair deal in the $25 to $28 million range for Travon Walker. Pay him a little bit less than Josh Hines-Allen, and I think everybody's happy. And, again, by the time that hits in 2027, it's going to be pennies on the dollar, I think. Because the trajectory suggests that this is a guy that's going to continue to rack up sack numbers, continue to be a really good run defender, and just be able to help your football team out consistently and also draw the attention of the opposing offense consistently. So really good football player. And I'm excited he's in Jacksonville, even though, at the time I didn't agree with the pick, right? Still happy he's here. Absolutely. Now, Devin Lloyd, this is an interesting one. Because of the way the NFL classifies like the fifth-year options, Travon Walker and Devin Lloyd's fifth-year options would actually cost the same. And the Jaguars have until May 1st to decide what they're going to do regarding Devin Lloyd's fifth-year option. Just based on the raw numbers, like off-ball linebacker is not as valuable as edge. That's obvious, right? It's just not. You look at the contracts around the league, it's not one of the more valuable positions in the league. So to be paying Devin Lloyd, who is an off-ball linebacker, the same amount that you would have to pay Travon Walker for a fifth-year option, that obviously stings a little bit. I don't think that's how it kind of should work. I think that edge should cost way more than linebacker for the fifth-year option, but the NFL is still kind of behind the 8 ball when it comes to that sort of thing. They need to work on that for the next CBA, but he's also not been as consistent of a player as Travon Walker, especially, the last 2 years. I think that Lloyd probably 75 to 90% of the snaps in a given game, he's doing exactly what he should do. He's playing the run really well. He's in good position in coverage, but it's that 10 to 25% in a given game where it just is ugly, unfortunately. And it's the games where it's like 10% of the plays that you can really live with, but it's the games where it's like creeping into the 15 to 20 to 25% range where you're in big trouble. And so it's a tough call for Devin Lloyd. We can dive into it further and do like a full examination on if the Jaguars should pick up that 50-year option. But I think just based on the numbers, based on, paying an off-ball linebacker almost $15 million for a given season, probably lean towards no. But we can pull up the off-ball linebacker contracts real quick. That would put him, the highest paid guy is Roquan. Then you have Fred Warner, Tremaine Edmonds, Zach Bond, Nick Bolton, Jamian Sherwood, who absolutely got paid. Good for him. But that would put him, that would make him the 7th highest paid off-ball linebacker in football. And that will probably change between now and then. Somebody's going to get paid, blah, blah, blah. But that puts him in a range that I just don't really know that he has earned. And, of course, these guys are on multi-year deals, whereas he would just be on that 50-year option. So it's not apples to apples comparison. But that's going to be a interesting decision for the Jaguars. And we'll talk about it a little bit more in the future. But for now, Jaguars fans can take solace in the fact that Travon Walker is at least under contract through 2026. He is an ascending football player. He's already a very good football player, and they have a really good edge duo for at least the next couple of years. And the Jaguars are working towards, at least having open conversations with Travon's representation about an extension. Getting these deals done early, if you're going to sign players, getting it done early absolutely makes sense. It looks like the Jaguars want to keep Travon Walker around, so getting it done this offseason would be the most advantageous way to handle this for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.